she can't always, externally necessarily be physically close to him. Although she was. Later on, in 72, she was personally serving Prabhupada at Radha Damodar lunch every day during those nectar devotion lectures. You saw the picture of Prabhupada taking prasad that she cooked and offered while he's gazing out the window at the Goswami Samadhi. So this began, as Jamuna told us in Mayapur, her quest to come closer to Prabhupada in separation, when she wasn't physically with him. And that was pretty early. That was in January 71. So I didn't meet Jamuna until 93, years after Prabhupada left. So that's why when you met Jamuna, she was really transparent to Prabhupada in a certain aspect, as I said. Prabhupada, the cook and the musician and the cultured person. So that's, Vani is more important than Vapu. I told you my old Vani Vapu story. Did I tell you my morning walk story? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, how I was so close to Prabhupada physically, but so far away from him spiritually. So that's a lesson. And in Prabhupada's own, in his last attempt to circle the globe, he got as far as the Manor, and he couldn't even speak. He could speak, but he couldn't address the devotees. He was in a wheelchair, he had dark glasses on, he couldn't even take the daylight. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was giving a talk to the devotees about like a summary of Prabhupada's preaching pastimes. And at one point, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, and Prabhupada, he only saw his Guru, he was only with his Guru Maharaj 5 or 6 times. And then Prabhupada smiled, T.K.J. used to say. And then he interrupted Tamal Krishna Maharaj and he said, actually, there was never a moment when I didn't feel my Guru Maharaj right by my side. Because he was so absorbed in the life teachings, Guru mission of his Guru Maharaj, who also happened to be founder Acaraya of the Gaudiya mission. So that's a fiction, gone forever. He lives forever. Yeah, the initiation is divine, rite of passage. The body of the Guru is divine because it's used in Krishna's service. But he especially lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower is with him. That's how to be close to Prabhupada. Now the flip side of gone forever, sentimental fiction, is Diksha Guru forever Prabhupada. There's Prabhupada initiating people. I think. Not sure if this is, this is what he used to do. He used to chant outside the bag for initiations. Let's see here. Yeah, Diksha Guru trying to anoint, crown Prabhupada as everybody's perpetual initiating Guru is foolish, but as you'll see now, I don't just bash this. I try to identify the roots of it. So there's the fiction. Diksha Guru forever Prabhupada. And the fact is, Robert's going to read the fact.
Keep trying that very rigidly, and then you are a bona fide Guru. And you can accept disciples on the same principle. But as a matter of etiquette, it is a custom that during the lifetime of your spiritual master, you bring the prospective disciples to him. And in his absence or disappearance, you can accept disciples without any limitation.
And furthermore,
this is the law of disciplic succession.
This is the law of disciplic succession. Prabhupada did not change laws.
I want to see my disciples become bona fide spiritual masters and spread Krishna consciousness very widely. That will make me and Krishna very happy.
So here's a few more quotes about how Prabhupada wants and expects his followers to not only receive shelter, but give shelter on some level. gurus. Shiksha, Diksha. Quote, and this is 1969. This is really early. After 2 books have been published, Prabhupada is so excited that an abridged Gita has come out and teachings of Lord Chaitanya have come out. Yeah, it's just really time. Then he starts talking about Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarva. He's talking about degrees. Just because 2 books have come out. And his vision was always soaring off to the end of the millennium, right? So this is January 69, and Prabhupada says, quote, I want that all of my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhakti Vedanta, so that the family transcendental diploma will continue through the generations. Those possessing the title of Bhakti Vedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. And he didn't say he'd be gone either, but he does say this. Maybe by 1975, all of my disciples will be allowed to initiate and increase the numbers of generations. That is my program. So in that mood, when, for example, when Kalakanta Prabhu initiates people, he's the director of Krishna House in Gainesville, Florida, after the University of Florida campus. He makes it very clear that he's the initiating spiritual master, Prabhupada, the founder of Acaraya, and then he challenges his disciples sometimes. He says, and now in 10 years' time, I want to see you initiate. Just like Prabhupada in 69. He's saying, maybe by 1975, all my sons and daughters, they will be. So, now I'm going to give you a couple of more quotes. Now we're going to see what caused this phenomenon of Diksha Guru forever. Here's another one. Quote, and Prabhupada's in Tehran, Iran. So you, every one of you can become a guru. You may say that I'm not interested to become a guru. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that if you're not interested, that's not very good. You should be interested. You must be guru. That is success of your life. See how Prabhupada is pushing us? One more. Quote, it is not that you will become a student and you'll remain a student. No. One day you shall also become guru and make more students, more. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, not that perpetually. Yes, one should remain perpetually a student, but he has to act as guru. That is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, following what Prabhupada called the law of disciplic succession, his clear instruction is that all of his strict followers become guru, both shiksha and diksha. Yet, what can make us vulnerable to the Diksha Guru Forever Prabhupada fiction is when gurus who come after the founder Acharya catch a dreaded disease, which I have a name for. You've heard of AIDS? Well, how about fads? Founder Acharya disease. Okay, let me try to explain. It's a little complicated, but what happens is, and this is what happened, you see, Diksha Guru Forever Prabhupada, or Ritvigism for short, was a monster we created in ISKCON by elevating the Diksha Guru practically to the level of the founder Acharya. And that's what happened. So much imitation went on of Prabhupada's position that there was a reaction to that. Big time reaction. So, see how Prabhupada is looking askance, disapprovingly, at the attitude that, yes, you are the guru. Guru on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Must be me. I must be the next one. It goes to your head. I once asked one of our beloved Zonal Acharyas, Maharaj, what's it like to be a guru, a spiritual master? I was saying this I was saying it kind of naively. I wasn't saying it with an agenda, to criticize him. I was just saying it. What's it like to be a spiritual master? And the person said, being a guru is like drinking champagne. It proved a very prophetic remark in this person's case. Anyway, because in this era there was so much emphasis, placed on the Diksha Guru as somehow the successors to Prabhupada. In the sense of replacing Prabhupada. You don't replace the Acharya. You simply cooperate to serve his mission. You initiate, you instruct, you worship his murti, you read his books, but you don't try to replace him. But that's what was going on, out of ignorance and immaturity.
Where was that going on?
Hmm?
Where was that going on?
Yes.
Where was that?
Where? All over the world. More or less. More or less.
Kishananda was his letterhead in Vrindavan.
Well, that was even before. That's another
okay,
story.
Is the founder Acharya of Vrindavan?
Yeah, well, that was, Okay, so that's what creates the reaction. So what is fads? Don't let me, this is my own creation, but it's like Dr. Frankenstein, right? You have Frankenstein? Yeah. So Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein is the mad scientist, so he's kind of like the guy carrying fads. He's so intoxicated by the position, just like scientists can think they can create life. Okay, so Dr. Frankenstein creates Frankenstein's monster. So the Diksha Guru, who imitates the founder Acharya, is going to create a monster. And that is the Ritvik Acharya, which is a perfectly good phrase, but the people who say, actually Prabhupada's the only guru, these people are all bogus, so Prabhupada's the perpetual Diksha Guru, so really what Prabhupada wanted was that we're all just be Ritviks and he's the real initiator. So that's the source of Ritvikism, that's the source of Diksha Guru for Prabhupada, is the fanatic focus on the Diksha Guru to the obscurance of a relationship with the founder Acharya. And that's what happened in the 80s. And we're still recovering from it. I mean, it's on the run. It's in remission. The cancer's in remission, which is good. But that's why I don't just bash Ritvikism. I identify its cause, Dikshism, as the source of that. So, yes, carried by a guru, grossly or subtly imitating the founder Acharya, fads blocks our foundational relationship with Srila Prabhupada, tempting those not thoroughly grounded in Prabhupada's teachings to crown Prabhupada as everyone's perpetual Diksha Guru. Unfortunately, the cure for fads, ignores Krishna's parampara system of manifest gurus guiding living disciples with all cooperating to serve the founder Acharya's mission. No need to sentimentally and illegally anoint Prabhupada as ISKCON's perpetual Diksha Guru, when all of us, all generations, already have Prabhupada as our beloved founder Acharya. Why would I want to make Prabhupada my Diksha Guru when I've already got him as my founder Acharya? Why? Because that's what we do. We tend to place all the emphasis on the initiator. And it's not right. It's wrong. Since Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya wants everyone, according to their capacity, to become real gurus, avoiding fads, avoiding the intoxication of thinking that I'm replacing Prabhupada, or even avoiding the pride of being a regular guru, right? It may seem difficult because we just heard Prabhupada say you should be a guru. But we're not supposed to have a proud attitude. That's not a real guru. So now we're gonna give there is audio for this.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Well, I have to plug it in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is Prabhupada identifying the attitude of a bona fide spiritual master. And if you have this attitude, there's no question of you developing false pride at being a guru, or what to speak of fads. So it preempts the whole...
Should work now?
Okay. let's hear. Here's Prabhupada. This is an amazing little excerpt. It's Prabhupada at Radha in Seva Kunj, Nectar Devotion Lecture Series, and he's revealing the attitude of a bona fide spiritual master.
A spiritual master takes his devout disciples as his spiritual master. That is the position. He thinks that Krishna has sent me so many spiritual masters. He does not think himself as spiritual master. He thinks himself their servant because they are to be trained. Krishna has appointed him to train them. Therefore, he thinks himself as the servant of the disciple. This is the position.
So there's the attitude that prevents the whole mess, the whole thing. A false pride. We're just speaking of imitating the founder Acharya's position. Full absorption in Srila Prabhupada's life, teachings, mood and mission is the best prevention for fads or any guru complex. And when fads is absent, so too is the sentimental fiction, Diksha Guru forever, Prabhupada. We don't need to have him as everybody's initiating guru. You don't need to make some illegal upasiddhantic claim to set things right. You just have to understand his position. He's the core identity, the core relationship, around which all other relationships revolve. And that's how ISKCON will go on. The Madhvas get it, the Ramanujis get it, the ISKCONers have to get it too. Lesson outcomes. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify and dispel impersonal fictions about Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is God, ISKCON is Prabhupada, the GBC ISKCON is Prabhupada, and what is the last one? Oh, Prabhupada is the guru only of his initiating disciples. Sentimental fictions, illusory Prabhupada, figurehead Prabhupada, gone forever Prabhupada, Diksha Guru forever Prabhupada. And we should be able to identify fads. I didn't get into this. What could be some symptoms of the founder Acharya disease? Of having the founder Acharya disease? And you didn't see these, but we saw them up front, up close, in living color in the 80s. You know what some symptoms could be of fads, imitating Prabhupada? Hopefully, when I do his voice, that's not what I mean. I'm trying to help you hear Prabhupada. You know what some symptoms were of fads?
Oh, I mean, accepting the same kind of worship.
Yeah, accepting the worship on the level.
I think it was infallible.
Yeah. I mean, it got so bad that in some places people were discouraged from reading Prabhupada's books. Just read the Guru's books. You know. Now, the Guru is updating Prabhupada. Yes, we have to always consider that time, place, but not to replace Prabhupada. Big difference. Yeah. There's so many things, but that's the main thing. Accepting the level of worship on the level of the founder Acharya. So the GBC finally got that, and it's on. I think it's on the books. You know, yes, you must worship your Guru, but you don't do it in the temple room, you know, next to Prabhupada. You do it in your own place, right? You have some other room. Anyway, they didn't get it down in Auckland. And I know Jaiva Thakuraj would not have been pleased with that, but they just were going on their sentiment. That's all. Religion without philosophy is sentiment, and sometimes fanaticism. Yeah. Okay, so we have one more tomorrow night. Unencumbered. unencumbered by impersonal and sentimental notions about our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, we are now ready to cultivate our own unique, authentic relationship with him as his eternal loving servant. Okay. So, it's a different kind of lesson, huh? Hope it wasn't too confusing. I added that fads thing at the end recently. Was it too confusing when I started talking about fads? Because I made that up.
In the beginning I was confused, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah, okay. I really have to spell it out. Because the fiction is Diksha Guru Forever Prabhupada, but it's caused by fads. That's where people get confused. I start talking about fads, but that's not the fiction. The fiction is, Diksha Guru Forever Prabhupada, that's the fiction. I have godbrothers and godsisters who were initiated right on the cusp, as Prabhupada was leaving this world, and sometimes they can even show letters, that Prabhupada accepted them. But then he left, and then they were initiated later by, the the disciple. But because there's still so much of a Diksha culture in ISKCON, the guru-disciple culture is still so Diksha focused that they spend their lives protesting that they're actually Prabhupada disciples. I'm in the black book too. I'm on the list. But that's missing the whole point. It's not about that. It's not about who you took initiation from. The core identity, no matter what generation, is Prabhupada and Nuka. Again, why would you want to make Prabhupada your initiating spiritual master when you've already got him as your founder Acharya? Why? Because we don't get what founder Acharya means. We don't get what that means. We're drawing our core identity all too often just from the initiator, who is a crucial person in our lives. They're crucial. Whoever is enriching, enhancing, and deepening our relationship with Prabhupada is crucial. They're our heroes. But why? Because they're bringing us closer to the founder Acharya, to our core identity in this God. So, yes.
To what extent then can you, because there might be some, even though you accept that Prabhupada is your ultimate instructing founder Acharya, you might have a nice, loving relationship that you want to express to your Diksha Guru because he saved you.
That's nice.
So, but
how did he save you?
how to prevent, there's a risk that goes too far, that's what you say, this worship of the Diksha.
Yeah, it's you have to know, in order to get the right, in order for the sentiment to be proper, that there has to be proper thinking. You have to have the philosophy down. So what makes the Guru bona fide, again, is that he's simply enriching, enhancing, and deepening your relationship with the founder Acharya. That's why in the Ramanujis have this concept of Udarak and Upakarak. Udarak, Ramanuja being the deliverer through his teachings, and through his teachings mainly, and his mission, Vishishta Advaita mission. And they all worship the Murti in Sri Lanka, which, did you know that they preserved his body? They don't have a...
Like mummified?
Yeah. You can still see the body there. Yeah, it's wild. I've never seen it, but that's what I understand. Anyway, that's something else. And then the Udarak, the gurus who come after him now for 1,000 years, are they're upakarak. They're benefactor gurus. How do they benefit their disciples? Because they bring them to the lotus feet of Ramanuja to worship his form, his vapu, and to study his books, and to execute his mission. So, So those people are really special, those gurus. That's why they're special, because they enhance that relationship with Ramanuja. And therefore, that's what I say, when you ask any self-respecting Ramanuji who he is, Aliyan, Ramanuja Dasan, I am your servant, the servant of Ramanuja. And therefore the line goes on for 1,000 years. So how are we going to go on unless we get the same point?
According to the Ramanujas, he is actually an incarnation of
Yes, okay, Vishnu. Therefore, I'm skating on thin ice when I bring him up too much, because there are doctrinal differences that some have, it depends. In general, they're a good example of how to keep the founder Acharya in the center. But when you read statements like that, it's best not to include that, perhaps, in written articles. And therefore, when I wrote Article 2 of my series in BTG about the founder Acharya, I didn't put that part in. I didn't include him as an example, because that is where we would part ways with them. But they are good examples in other ways, because they do keep him in the center. But some have this idea. Yeah, so, yeah. Some people know that. I don't bring it up. You knew it. Where did you read it?
I just heard it from several Ramanujacharyas.
Some Ramanujis?
Well, they're ISKCON devotees, but from Brahmana families in the south. So they.
Yeah, okay, right. From Andhra Pradesh or something, or Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. Anyway, we also have our differences with the Madhvas, too. They can't relate to Radha Krishna. They're more into Bala Krishna, Kurukshetra Krishna. But when you start talking about the rasas that Mahaprabhu introduced, it's tough for them to relate to that. So we part ways in some ways, but in general they're a good example of how to keep their founder acharyas front and center. Okay, thank you.
I heard one of the female disciple of Prabhupada narrate some of her memories, and it was something like in a room with Prabhupada, and then there was next door there was a sound, and Prabhupada said, "What was that?" And then she commented something like, "Actually, this was just your lila. Of course, you know already what was going on, but you were pretending you were like an ordinary person." What's your opinion on that?
What did Prabhupada say? Well, that you're going to give us the punchline.
No, but no. That's the point. I don't remember. She presents from him that he's all-knowing as a super soul. He knows everything already, and when he speaks about ignorance, I don't know what to ask. It's just his pretense of ignorance.
Well, the Guru isn't God. The Guru is not omniscient. That's wrong. Although some claim that. He knows, Prabhupada has, in fact, Prabhupada was asked this. Now, I can't quote chapter and verse or room conversation, date. But he knows what he needs to know, what Krishna reveals to him for the mission, and that makes sense. But to say that he, necessarily knows everything the way Krishna knows it, no, that's not right. He's not God.
You can say that maybe he knows what Krishna tells him.
Yeah, that's, this press conference in New York, where